In general, you need to be doing what 90% of the market is not doing if you want to make money. So when everyone is scared, you need to be buying. When everyone is soaring high, in general, you need to be selling.
Chris here. He is a funded trader with Trade the Pool. So Chris, thank you very much for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Alex. Thanks for having me.
Amazing. And I take it you're in the US. Whereabouts in the US are you from?
I am. I live in Chicago, so it's it's right here in the middle of the U.S.
Quite cold now at the moment.
It tends to be, yes.
Yeah.
We're in the 30s right now. I'm not sure what that is for Celsius. I think that's 2 or 3 maybe. But yeah.
So the reason obviously we're talking today is you've gone through the Trade the Pool evaluation. You've successfully passed your evaluation account and now you're a funded trader. Do you want to just tell me a little bit about your journey, where you came from, how you even got into trading until you found Trade the Pool and you started trading for us?
Absolutely. So during the middle of the pandemic in late 2020, like a lot of people, I started just kind of reconsidering my life and things I always wanted to do but never had the courage to. And one of them was trading. I'd kind of been raised by a conservative family, and trading always felt like gambling. And so I was scared to take it on. I said, well, you know what? Life is too short. I've always wanted to do this. I love math. I love analysis. Let me see if I can do this and do this well. And so I started learning for about a year, and then because I live in the U.S., I'm under the PDT rule, which dictates that you need at least $25,000 in an account to be able to day trade. And I was primarily looking into day trading. So I found an offshore account that would let me trade and started trading with a live account about a year into my learning. And I definitely had some losses, and found with the offshore account, I was also experiencing a lot of fees, which makes sense. You know, they know that you don't have a lot of options, and so they're kind of sticking you with a lot of fees, and so you really have to have a strong edge to be able to succeed there. And so I was just slowly seeing my funds whittling away. And then I had always been interested in a prop firm, but most of the prop firms I'd read about were Forex or, just trading currencies. And so that was, that was not something I had found much success with in my learning. I'd always been trading with stocks. And once I found there was a firm that traded stocks, I was sold and started looking at it, Trade the Pool right away.
Amazing. What was the journey did you go through the typical journey of every trader, as you started having a look at, some guys on YouTube, and then you started looking at the charts, and then you did a course? And what was your trading journey like?
Yeah, so I of course looked at some books, and then yes, YouTube it's a wealth of knowledge. There's a lot of great stuff and a lot of bad stuff. I was kind of repelled by the guys who were like, get your Lamborghini in 3 months and all this flash. It just never appealed to me. I really like people who seem to make sense and were more analytically and mathematically based, and also just seem more like balanced people. I just didn't I thought if everyone could get a Lamborghini in 3 months, everyone would be doing it. So there were a couple people I was drawn to early on online. I took one relatively inexpensive course that was just kind of basics, moving averages and trend following and volume and price, and eventually landed on more short selling as my main way that I found made sense to me and allowed me to kind of get an edge. And that's how I was able to kind of move forward and eventually pass the account. But yeah, YouTube was definitely a place that I went to.
It's quite interesting that you say you're a short seller. Why do you reckon you're a short seller? Is there something like you've got like your kind of personality? I'm not going to call you a pessimist or anything, but is there anything that you look at companies and you think, you know what, that valuation for that company is a little bit too high, or that's an overpriced company? Maybe I see there's a lot of weakness and a lot of opportunity with that company coming down a little bit. What's your opinion on that?
Sure. So on a very basic level, something one of the people I found online said is that, in general, you need to be doing what 90% of the market is not doing if you want to make money. So when everyone is scared, you need to be buying. When everyone is soaring high, in general, you need to be selling at some point in the near future. And that person who I watched some of their videos also said that, the one thing about these low priced, in general, small cap sometimes penny stock companies is in general they're not very valuable. They may be
Yep.
the next company that goes from $1 to $300. That'd be amazing, but for the most part they're not great. And when they gap up these large amounts, usually it's not sustainable. And sometimes you can determine that from historic resistance that you can see on your yearly chart, and sometimes it just is a natural way of kind of going with the stock where it'll gap up and then it'll just kind of fall off. And so I just started analyzing a lot of those. So in general, I'm a technical trader more than a fundamental trader. I'm not looking into specific companies very much. I'm just kind of looking like, in general, when a stock gaps up this much, it'll usually descend this much, and so on and so forth. And then I base my stop losses on that. I still take losses all the time, but in general, my losses are smaller than the gains.
That's couldn't have put it any better way, to be honest. When you're looking at pulling up a trade, what are kind of the fundamentals of the trade that you're going to do? Have you got a specific risk to reward? Are you putting a specific amount of risk on that trade depending on the setup? What's your kind of process with all of that?
Yeah, I don't know the exact risk to reward that I have. I know that for each thing that I trade, I'm starting out with a potential 25% loss from what the position size that I'm putting in at the top. So I'm trading very small positions because it has, these are very volatile things, and I want to leave enough room for it to potentially go in the wrong direction before it goes my way. So in general, I'm putting in a short top of day with a 25% stop loss. If it hits it, I'm out for the day on that particular ticker. If it doesn't hit it and it goes back down, I will add on the way down. So once it's in my favor already, I will then add a couple position sizes and then lower my stop loss.
So you'll trail your stop loss into break even or trail it with price action.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, as it's going in my favor, I'll trail it down, and then normally I'm holding till end of day. Recently, I've been playing more with having levels that I'll take some profit during the day, and in addition to that, I've been playing with doing some more pre-market entries because I've been noticing, particularly in late December into January, a lot of these things were hitting their peaks before 8:30 is when the market opens in my my time zone. So I'm about an hour before the market. I was noticing a lot of these were already kind of descending. So I started to get earlier entries, and I'm still playing around with that.
Yeah, it's a little bit more. You've got to be a bit more technical when you're getting in pre-market, because you can't really just get in and out as easy as the market when it's open.
And that's another reason I'm grateful for Trade the Pool. It's already happened where I've got, even with a small entry, I was taken out of my position by the max trade loss just because I happened to get in something and it went up 10%. And so my position was stopped out. And it's honestly something I'm grateful about, particularly pre-market when it's hard to get orders in and out quickly.
Yeah, 100%. These things are there just to protect the trader and also to protect the account. So it is good that and we were emotional animals as well. Who would have knows if you didn't have that kind of that infrastructure there, and you came into your chart and this was on a personal account and you see that loss, would you have closed it, or would you have begged to the trading gods to bring price back down to your break entry? So it's a very difficult thing, but it's good to have that structure around that can actually help traders as well to just focus on the stuff that's important and mitigate any risk that there is if there's any kind of black swan event or any kind of gap ups and gap downs.
Yeah,
definitely.
I completely agree. Yeah, I think honestly, been doing this for I guess about 3.5 years now, and I honestly, the more that I do it, the more that I think, the more you are able to master yourself and your own emotions and really get your discipline under control, the more you'll be successful as a trader. Because honestly, it's not super hard to find an edge. You can, go historically and look at data. You can pull some data from a data, mining source online, and you can find something that has an edge. But you have to know how to trade it, and you have to, when the chart is not going your way, even though you've done all the analysis, and you're like, I know I must be right. You just got to get out and wait for the next one.
100%. So you've already given quite a lot of tips already, but for a new trader that is, come through this same kind of journey, have gone through YouTube, see all the Lambo boys, and they've started reading some books, and now they're getting their feet. They've started to find that they may have a little bit of an edge. They're looking at Trade the Pool. What would be your recommendation to that person?
Absolutely, I would say go for it 100%. I mean, I think, like we just mentioned, some of your discipline is built in. You've got I did have to change my trading style when I knew what the max trade loss was, what the max daily loss was. But it was helpful for me to do that
Yep.
journey, to do that math and figure out, okay, well then this is where I'll max out my position size, and I know that I only have this far I can go down, and so I'll just adjust everything to that, and it actually helps you be a better trader. And
Yep.
there's no other prop firm like it. You can trade everything in the stock market. In general, once something IPOs, it's there the next day, and
Yep.
you've got all of it. I find the fees to be pretty low.
Mhm.
And in general, you're one thing for short sellers is you're often paying a locate fee, and you don't have that with trade the pool, which is a huge advantage as well. Now, sometimes
correct.
you'll find things that may not be completely available just because of how the stock is trading, but at the same time, you're not paying high fees in order to obtain shares to borrow.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you very much, Chris, and I wish you all the success in your new funded accounts. And hopefully, we can have another conversation once you've had a couple of payouts and you've already, grown the account multiple times.
That sounds wonderful. Thanks a lot, Alex. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.